A community under siege. Bastrop, Louisiana, reeling from violence, poverty and tragedy. Written by Christopher Turner. Bastrop, Louisiana, small town nestled in Morehouse Parish, with a population of fewer than 9,000, embodies a complex mix of resilience and despair. Generations of families in this rural community have endured systemic poverty, cycles of violence and tragedies that often defy explanation. These experiences have left indelible marks on the lives of Bastrop's residents, who continue to navigate the intersections of survival and sorrow. Beneath the surface lies a tapestry of stories, of lives lost, unresolved mysteries, and a community struggling to hold on to hope in the face of relentless hardship. A legacy of violence and loss. Jacarian Craig, a life cut short. Jacarian Craig's story is one of many tragedies that connect Bastrop's present to its history. A young man whose family left Bastrop to pursue opportunities elsewhere, Jacarian was tragically killed in Frisco, Texas. His death reverberated through his hometown, where his family remains deeply rooted in the community. Jacarian Craig's passing is a stark reminder that the struggles of Bastrop, poverty, violence and limited prospects, are not confined to its borders. Even those who leave often find themselves shadowed by the same systemic challenges, highlighting how deeply these issues are woven into the fabric of the community. Christina Hunt, A Search for Justice. The discovery of human remains south of White Avenue in December 2023 led to the identification of Christina Hunt, a 29-year-old woman from Dallas, Texas. Months passed before DNA testing confirmed her identity, leaving her loved ones in anguish. Christina's death, still under investigation, underscores the vulnerability of women in and around Bastrop, where violence often goes unchecked and unanswered. Her case is one of many that points to the urgent need for systemic reform, not just in solving crimes but in addressing the conditions that make such violence possible. Ashley Barnes, A Childhood Stolen. 14-year-old Ashley Barnes represents another heartbreaking chapter in Bastrop's ongoing struggles. In a case that shocked the community, Ashley was brutally murdered by Donnell Holmes, who was later apprehended in Arizona in April 2024. Holmes, charged with first-degree rape in connection with Ashley's death, left a trail of pain and outrage that reignited calls for greater protection of young women in the community. Ashley's death, like so many others, reflects the systemic failures that leave vulnerable populations exposed to harm. Her story is both a tragedy and a call to action for those seeking to change the course of Bastrop's future. Tabitha Queen, The Pain of the Unknown. The disappearance of Tabitha Queen in 2021 remains a haunting mystery. Her car was discovered on West Pine Street near the City Maintenance Center, but Tabitha herself has never been found. Her family's ongoing search for answers highlights the pervasive sense of unresolved grief that defines much of life in Bastrop. Tabitha's case stands as a painful reminder of how easily people can disappear, leaving families and communities grappling with unanswered questions and unhealed wounds. Historical echoes of tragedy. A child's remains, the mystery of 2019. In June 2019, the remains of a juvenile were found in a ditch near a local ballpark. While authorities suspect foul play, the case remains unsolved, and the child's identity has never been publicly revealed. This tragic discovery added to the town's long history of loss, and the pervasive sense that justice remains out of reach for many families. John Smith and Jason Robinson, Substance Abuse and Fatal Consequences. The devastating loss of cousins John Smith and Jason Robinson in 2019 sheds light on another crisis plaguing Bastrop: substance abuse. Both men, in their early 30s, died in a head-on collision after using PCP, also known as wet or sherm. Their deaths underscore the far-reaching impact of addiction in a town where resources for mental health and substance abuse treatment are scarce. A broader pattern of violence and neglect. These stories are not isolated incidents, but rather pieces of a larger puzzle that reflects the challenges facing Bastrop. Generational poverty, systemic inequality, and the lingering effects of historical injustices have created a community where violence and tragedy seem inescapable. Women, in particular, face heightened risks, as seen in the cases of Christina Hunt, Ashley Barnes and others. The cycles of violence and neglect are deeply rooted in Bastrop's history, tied to its status as a town where many residents are descendants of enslaved people. The weight of this history, combined with a lack of resources and opportunities, continues to shape the present. The story of Arlana Miller. Arlana Miller, another life tragically lost, provides a poignant example of the pressures faced by young people in Bastrop. A student at Southern University, Alana took her own life in 2022 after a deeply emotional social media post detailing her struggles. Her death shed light on the mental health crisis affecting many young people in rural communities, where support systems are often inadequate or non-existent. Alana's story serves as a powerful reminder of the need for mental health resources, and the importance of addressing the root causes of despair in towns like Bastrop. A path toward healing and change. The struggles of Bastrop are deeply ingrained, but they are not insurmountable. The community's resilience, born of generations of hardship, offers a glimmer of hope for a brighter future. Addressing these challenges will require systemic change, including investments in education, healthcare, mental health services, and law enforcement. Each life lost, whether through violence, neglect, or systemic failure, tells a story that deserves to be remembered. From Jacarion Craig to Alana Miller, these individuals represent not just the pain of the past but the possibility of a better future, if their stories can inspire meaningful action. Bastrop's journey is far from over, but its people remain steadfast in their pursuit of justice, healing, and hope. By Christopher Turner, Heritage Weekly founder and editor-in-chief. Expert theologist specializing in Israelite heritage and covenant theology. Biblical scholar and cultural historian focusing on ancient scriptures and the lost tribes of Israel. Author of Rediscovering Israel, a comprehensive study of covenantal promises and the scattered tribes. Contributor to theological journals Insights on Hebrew Texts, Prophecy, and New Testament Context. Public speaker discussing Israelite identity, prophecy, and scriptural truth in the modern age. Covenant theology researcher unveiling the promises made to Israel and their fulfillment.